Okay, hello, my name is Cesar Rocha, and today I will be sharing with you my scope of work video. And yeah, so the project I was on, or that I will be sharing or using as an for this assignment, will be the Sanger Phase 3 project and a little bit of the aquatics project uh, for the Sanger West Educational Complex for Sanger Unified, which is located on Jensen and Fowler. So yeah, did my internship with Harris Construction, and the scope of work that we will be going through and talking about is going to be site utilities. Um, yeah, so means and methods and um, equipment and materials, I would say go very hand in hand, because well, the company can decide how they approach a task. I mean, you could also say the same thing with, well, safety is also going to be a very important and deciding factor for means and methods and how a contractor will approach their installation of their scope of work, in this case being site utilities. Um, yeah, so equipment and materials. So for site utilities, obviously you have to do staking, which will be performed by, well, in our project's case, we had a contractor um, doing the staking for the entirety of the project. So yeah, contractor came, staked um, whatever utility it is that was requested. Could be uh, domestic water, hydronic water, your chilled hot water, um, gravitational systems such as a storm drain and sewer, and your fire line water. So equipment and materials used, you'll have the laser to get your elevations as you're digging and installing pipe. Make sure you're installing at the right grade and elevation. For your gravitational systems, you want to make sure you're having the slope that is called out per plan. Um, yeah, yeah, it'll be in the plan sheets. A lot of time it's like 0.125, um, point or 0.0125. But yeah, a lot of they'll use heavy equipment. Obviously, you need to dig before you're able to install your system. So here, there's an excavator used for a lot of time for the very deep, um, your main lines, and the very deep, hard to reach with the backhoe um, elevations. And yeah, you have a backhoe. Backhoe is going to be most common, and the mini X for for site utilities, as or what I saw this summer. The electricians and our site utilities contractor use those a lot. Here's pictures of the the blue pipe. A lot of the time, or a great majority of the time, will be for your um, pressurized water systems, such as your domestic water and your fire line water. So here it is in the top left picture, top um top middle picture. You'll see it be installed. This is before it gets, encased in sand, and then um, native soil back compacted. Then you get the layer of tape, of you know that is labeled and tells you to it says caution, and it'll say fire line below, and this is going to be installed right before you complete your backfill. That way, in the future, if anybody's digging in that area, they'll, you know, get the tape, and then they'll know to be extra careful with these systems because you don't want to hit a water line and then it just be gushing out water. And then you'll see fittings, couplings for the systems. Um, Here you have a concrete manhole and the storm drain here. Materials, more materials. So these are going to be your finishes. You have your manhole lids for your sewer and your storm drain systems. You'll have your PIVs, your fire hydrants, fire department connections for your fire lines, and you have these gate valves here, which are going to shut off your water systems. Yeah, we still haven't got to this stage in phase three because we're still in the construction stage. We have um, site work that still needs to be in place, and that's not going to happen until a couple months from now. Sequencing, I put this together um, because, well, this is just a very general thing that I've seen on the projects that I've been on. So for phase two, phase three, and um, aquatics, yeah, and I didn't include any dates because it'll vary just depending on the location and amount of piping that is going to be in that area. So obviously, smaller projects will have smaller durations, while larger areas are going to have longer durations. And it won't be broken up like this. You'll see it as a staking, and then followed by installation of pipe, and um, so for example, if we use storm drain, it'll say stake storm drain, and then the next activity will be installation of storm drain, and then the following activity will be finish storm drain. But here I broke it down just to take everything into consideration. We have staking. The contractor will then lay out, excavate, bench, slope, and shore as required. Um, as you get deeper per the Cal OSHA regulations, you need a bench. Uh, once you go, once you reach 5 feet in depth, you have to bench depending on the soil type present, whether it's A, B, or C. You can't bench for type C soil. For type C soil, you have to slope away from the bottom of the trench. And this is because, that type C soil will just give out and cave in. And yeah, so Harris is very big on safety, so we make sure to follow all these safety protocols and plans. That way we make sure, everybody's going home safe. Um, yeah, and then um, yeah, so Darden and the Black Church and Finn, they they're they're part of the design team that takes care of the site development. And yeah, on the plan sheets it shows, there being a sand bed, then encasing the pipe in sand, or sand bed, installing the pipe, testing it, and then once you backfill, oh, then you're able to do your thrust blocks and then backfill, encasing it in sand, backfilling with your native soil, getting that proper height of clearance before you're able to do your utility tape, and then you complete your backfill with soil, and you have to make sure it's compacted, or um, another word that they use is engineer fill. It just pretty much should mean, you know, your soil is compacted to 95%. Um, and then from there, you do your utilities, um, your finishes for the utilities. A lot of the times, when you're doing the pressurized systems, and you're tying into an existing system, you need to do a shutdown of the system. So for example, for phase 3, we will need to um, do a shutdown for when we connect the fire line into the main pump room on the site, and this will more than likely take place on a Saturday. That way, the campus is not left without um, uh, fire 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 water to the buildings, because in the case of an accident, you do not want to have kids in a building with no you know fire water. um, so yeah, that work will take place probably in the weekend, and this is a coordination thing that Harris Construction has to work out with the owner, in this case Sanger Unified. That way we can prepare and not impede on their ongoing activities, given that it's an existing campus. And then estimating, scheduling, and quality control. So tying into existing utilities, traffic control, those are pretty big when you're doing utilities in the roads and on existing systems. As far as estimating and scheduling goes, a lot of the time you'll get so based on the baseline schedule is what the general contractor will go off of. And scheduling the work, you want to be able to get all your utilities in prior to any erection and vertical construction. This way, you know, scaffolding or framing is not impeding, because you need a lot of space for laydown around the building. So you want to get your underground in first prior to the vertical aspect of construction. And then estimating, you'll do takeoffs based on the plan sheets. Um, yeah, be able to use a scale, get how much piping you need, how much, and you'll use the details to narrow everything down to fittings, truss block, amount of concrete, reinforcement, sand that you'll need. And quality control, obviously you'll base yourself off the plan details, ensure everything is being installed per plan at proper elevation. um, Make sure you're getting enough clearance whenever there's systems in the same space, and ensure thrust blocks are um, adequate size based on the specific pipe that it's using. Yeah, thank you. This is it for site utilities.